All right, so today we're heading off to Eastern Europe.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, Romania.
Romania.
And we're going to be diving deep into all the amazing cities to help our listeners plan an awesome first trip to Romania.
You know, it's funny. Romania is one of those countries that people don't often think of when they're planning a European vacation.
Yeah, that's true.
But it really has, so much to offer.
It does. Yeah, we're talking like stunning mountains, medieval towns, and, like a beautiful coastline.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we did a whole deep dive on Bucharest.
Yeah, we covered Bucharest pretty extensively, didn't we?
Yeah, so we'll mention it, but we're going to focus on some other Romanian cities.
Sounds good. So where are we headed first?
Well, let's start in the northeast.
Okay.
In the historic region of Moldavia with the city of Ai.
Iaia. Now, that's a city with character. Pronounced ya, by the way.
Yash. Okay, I'm already intrigued.
Yeah, it's a fascinating place. For centuries, it was a major cultural and intellectual hub. It even served as the capital of Moldavia for a while.
Wow, I had no idea.
And that rich history is reflected in its architecture.
Ah, so what should we see?
Well, the Palace of Culture is a must-see. It's this grand neo-Gothic building that actually houses 4 museums.
4 museums. That's a lot of culture packed into one building.
It is, and you could spend days exploring them all. Oh, and speaking of impressive structures, you can't miss the Metropolitan Cathedral.
Tell me more.
It's the largest Orthodox church in Romania. The sheer scale of it is awe-inspiring, and the intricate details are just incredible.
I love those kinds of details. It's like each one tells a little story.
Exactly. And here's a little bonus tip for our listeners.
Right, lay it on me.
If you're flying into EI International Airport,
Okay.
you can easily hop on a bus and be in Chișinău, the capital of Moldova, in just a few hours.
Ooh, 2 countries in one trip. That's a great travel hack.
It is. It's a great way to maximize your time and see even more of the region.
All right, so we've got Ai on our list. What's next?
Well, let's head over to Transylvania, shall we?
Let's do it. And I've heard whispers about the unofficial capital of Transylvania, Cluj-Napoca.
Ah, yes. Cluj-Napoca. It's pronounced Cluj-Napoca.
Okay, Cluj-Napoca. I'm going to try to remember that.
It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's worth the effort.
Okay, so what makes Cluj-Napoca so special?
Well, it's a vibrant university town.
Oh, so lots of energy.
Tons of energy, yeah. It's got this really cool mix of history and modernity.
How so?
Well, you've got these beautiful historic buildings like St. Michael's Church, which is this stunning Gothic masterpiece.
I love Gothic architecture.
But then you also have this thriving modern art scene with galleries and studios popping up all over the place.
I can see why they call it the unofficial capital. It sounds like a real hub of creativity.
It is. And it's not just art either. Cluj is becoming a major tech hub. They often call it the Silicon Valley of Eastern Europe.
Really?
Yep. And if you're a night owl, Cluj has got a fantastic nightlife scene.
So, history, art, tech, and nightlife.
That's Cluj-Napoca in a nutshell.
And getting there is easy.
Super easy. Cluj International Airport has great connections to lots of European cities.
Perfect. All right, so we've done Ai, we've done Cluj-Napoca. What's next on our Romanian adventure?
Let's head south to a city with a very charming nickname.
Okay, I love nicknames. What is it?
This one's called Little Vienna.
Ooh, I'm picturing elegant architecture and maybe some waltzing in the streets.
Well, the waltzing might be optional,
Hi.
but the elegant architecture is definitely there.
I knew it. So, which city is this?
This is Timișoara, pronounced Timișoara. It earned the nickname because of its Austro-Hungarian heritage. You'll see it everywhere, from the beautiful Baroque buildings to the wide, tree-lined avenues.
Okay, Timișoara. Got it.
Well,
Now, didn't this city play an important role in Romanian history?
absolutely. Timișoara was actually the birthplace of the 1989 Romanian Revolution.
Wow, that's powerful. The revolution that led to the fall of the communist regime.
Exactly. The protests that started in Timișoara sparked a nationwide movement that changed the course of Romanian history. And you can still visit some of the key sites where those protests took place.
That's incredible to be able to stand in those places and feel the weight of history. Now, I have to ask, is there anything else unique about Timișoara besides its nickname and its historical significance, of course?
Well, for a fun little tidbit, Timișoara was the first city in Europe to have electric street lighting
No way. When was that?
way back in 1884.
That's impressive. So Little Vienna was quite ahead of its time.
Indeed.
And reaching this pioneering city is easy, right?
Absolutely. Timișoara International Airport has you covered.
Perfect. All right, so we've explored the historical depths of Ai, the vibrant energy of Cluj-Napoca, and the elegant charm of Timișoara. I'm feeling pretty inspired already. But what about our listener who might be dreaming of some, like, seaside relaxation?
Well, for that, we need to head east to the Black Sea coast.
Ooh, the Black Sea. I'm already picturing myself lounging on a beach.
And we've got just the city for you, Constania.
Constania. How do you pronounce that?
It's Konstanza.
Okay, Constanza. I'll try to get that one right.
You'll get it. Now, Constania is a really fascinating blend of ancient history and modern beach culture.
Ooh, that sounds right up my alley. Tell me more.
So you've got these well-preserved Roman ruins, like the Roman edifice with mosaic, which dates back to the 4th century A.D.
Wow, the 4th century. That's ancient.
It is. And then for something a little more recent, there's the iconic casino.
The casino, I've seen pictures. It's that stunning Art Nouveau building that overlooks the harbor, right?
That's the one. It's unfortunately closed for renovations right now.
Oh, bummer.
But even from the outside, it's a sight to behold.
Yeah, I bet. So history and architecture are covered. Now, what about those beaches?
Oh, right. Well, if you're looking for some classic beach time, Plaja din Mamaya is the place to be.
Plaja din Mamay.
It's just north of the city. It's got golden sand, clear blue water, perfect for relaxing after a day of exploring the city.
That sounds idyllic.
Yeah.
And getting to Constantine is easy, I'm assuming.
You bet. Constantine International Airport serves quite a few European destinations.
Excellent. Okay, we've done culture, history, and beach vibes. What's next?
Well, how about a city steeped in history and located right on the Danube River?
Ooh, the Danube. That sounds intriguing. Which city is this?
This is Galai. It's pronounced Galatz,
Yeah.
and it's right on the border with Ukraine.
Wow, the Danube forming the border with Ukraine? That's got to be a pretty impressive sight.
Oh, it is. And Galai has always been a strategic location, being right at the confluence of the Siret and Prut rivers.
So 3 rivers meet in this one city. That's pretty amazing.
It is. And Galai has a really interesting historical connection with Moldova.
Oh,
Yeah, for centuries, it served as the main port for Moldova because Moldova didn't have direct access to the sea.
so Galai was like a gateway for Moldova.
Exactly.
That's fascinating. So if our listener is interested in the history and culture of both Romania and Moldova, Galai is a good place to go.
Absolutely. Now, just so you know, Galaia's own airport isn't operational anymore.
Okay.
But no worries, you can easily fly into Mihail Kalnisianu International Airport in Constania or Georginescu International Airport in Bacău.
Okay.
And from there, it's a scenic drive along the Danube to get to Galai.
Sounds like a beautiful road trip. Okay, now there's one more city I want to ask about.
All right, shoot.
It's a name that sounds almost magical.
Ooh, I like where this is going.
It's Craiova.
Craiova, pronounced Craiova.
Yeah.
And I agree, it does have a certain ring to it, doesn't it?
It does. So what can you tell me about this mysterious-sounding city?
Well, it's located in southwestern Romania, and honestly, it's one of those cities that often gets overlooked.
I'm sensing a theme here. Romania seems to be full of these hidden gems.
You got that right. But Craiova is definitely worth a visit. It has this beautiful architecture, fantastic museums, and a really lively art scene.
Okay, so it's ticking a lot of boxes. What are some must-sees in Craiova?
Well, if you're a fan of green spaces, you absolutely have to check out Nicolae Romanescu Park.
Okay, tell me more.
It's one of the largest urban parks in all of Europe. It's got these picturesque lakes, charming bridges. There's even a zoo.
Wow, so it's like a city escape within the city.
Exactly. It's a perfect place to just relax and enjoy some nature.
I love it. And getting there is easy.
Piece of cake. Craiova International Airport has connections to several European cities.
Wonderful. Okay, now let's talk about a city I actually have heard of. Brov.
Bravo. The gateway to Transylvania.
Yes. Transylvania. Now, I have to admit, when I hear Transylvania, my mind immediately jumps to Dracula.
Of course.
But I know that's more fiction than fact.
Well, yeah, the Dracula legend is mostly myth, but it definitely adds a certain mystique to the region.
It does. So where does Braiov fit into all of this?
Well, Brov is nestled right in the heart of Transylvania, surrounded by the Carpathian Mountains.
Ooh, mountains.
Yep, and it's a city that has this perfect blend of medieval charm and modern vibrancy.
Okay, I'm picturing cobblestone streets, colorful houses, and maybe a few bats flying around at night.
You might just spot a bat or two. But even without the bats, Braiov's Old Town is incredibly well preserved.
So what should we see there?
Well, you can't miss the Black Church. It's this iconic Gothic masterpiece that dominates the skyline.
I do love Gothic architecture.
And of course, no trip to Braev is complete without a visit to Bran Castle.
Ah, yes, Bran Castle, Dracula's castle. Even if it's more myth than reality, it's still got to be pretty impressive to see.
Oh, it is. It's perched on this hilltop, surrounded by forest, and it just has this, like, undeniable presence.
I can only imagine. And is it actually, like, scary inside?
Well, it's definitely atmospheric, lots of dark, winding corridors and spooky legends.
Sounds fun. And for those who aren't into castles, are there any other options?
Absolutely. If you're more of a nature lover, you can take a cable car up Mount Tampa.
Mount Tampa, okay.
Yeah, it overlooks the city, and the views from up there are breathtaking. It's a great way to get some fresh air and see Braev from a different perspective.
So Braev has it all. History, myth, natural beauty. And getting there is easy, I'm assuming.
Super easy. Braev Gimbab International Airport is just outside the city.
Perfect. Okay, so we've done Braev, the gateway to Transylvania. Is there anything else we need to cover in this region?
Well, we can't talk about Transylvania without mentioning one more city. Sibiu.
Sibiu, okay. That name sounds almost musical.
It does have a lovely sound to it, doesn't it? And the city itself is just as charming.
All right, I'm sold. Tell me everything.
Sibiu is one of those cities that truly feels like you've stepped back in time.
Ooh, I love that. What makes it so special?
Well, first of all, the architecture.
Okay.
It's incredibly well preserved, especially in Grand Square, which is the heart of the city. It's surrounded by these beautiful Baroque buildings, and the whole atmosphere is just magical.
So it's a feast for the eyes.
Oh, absolutely. And then you have these charming streets, cobblestone streets,
I love cobblestone streets.
aligned with pastel-colored houses. Each house has these little eyes.
Eyes?
Yeah, they're like small attic windows that kind of look like eyes peering out at you.
That's so quirky. I love that. What's the story behind the eyes?
Well, there are different interpretations, but some people say they symbolize the watchful gaze of the city's past residents, kind of like they're still keeping an eye on their beloved Sibiu.
Ah, I love that. It's like the city itself is watching over you.
Exactly. And then you've got these hidden passageways and staircases that connect to different parts of the city.
Ooh, secret passageways. I'm always up for a good adventure.
They're really fun to explore. It's like you're uncovering little secrets of the city.
Sounds like Sibiu is a city that begs to be explored on foot, just getting lost in its streets and soaking up the atmosphere.
Absolutely. And for those flying in, Sibiu International Airport has connections to various European cities.
Perfect. Okay, we've done it. We've covered so many incredible Romanian cities,
We have.
and each one seems to offer something unique and special.
Yeah. Romania is full of surprises, that's for sure.
But I have a feeling there's even more to explore, right?
Oh, absolutely. We've only just scratched the surface.
Okay, well, I'm ready for more.
So, beyond the cities, we have Romania's stunning natural landscapes.
Yeah, I'm ready to trade those cobblestone streets for some hiking boots and some fresh mountain air.
Well, you're in luck. Because Romania has it all.
It does, doesn't it? Okay, so first up, we have to talk about the Carpathian Mountains.
Ah, the Carpathians.
Yeah, they just seem to loom large in almost every image I see of Romania.
Well, they're often called the backbone of Romania.
I can see why. They stretch across a vast portion of the country, right?
They do. And they offer some of the most breathtaking scenery you'll ever see.
So we're talking like snow-capped peaks, dense forests.
Absolutely. Picturesque valleys, traditional villages nestled among the hills.
Okay, this is already calling to my adventurous soul.
And for the wildlife enthusiasts out there,
Yeah.
the Carpathians are home to brown bears, lynx, all sorts of amazing creatures.
Wow. I would love to spot a brown bear in the wild.
From a safe distance, of course.
Of course. But if hiking isn't your thing,
There are tons of scenic driving routes that wind through the mountains, offering just incredible panoramic views.
so whether you're a hiker or a driver, the Carpathians have something to offer.
Absolutely. Now, remember when we talked about Galai?
Yeah, the city on the Danube right on the border with Ukraine.
That's the one. Well, we briefly mentioned the Danube Delta.
Yeah, but I have a feeling there's a lot more to say about that.
Oh, there is. The Danube Delta is one of those places that you just have to see to believe.
So paint me a picture. What are we talking about here?
We're talking about a vast network of canals, lakes, reed beds,
Okay.
all created where the mighty Danube River flows into the Black Sea.
Wow, that sounds pretty epic.
It is, and it's a haven for wildlife, especially birds.
Birds.
Birdwatchers flock from all over the world to see the over 300 species that call the Danube Delta home.
300? That's incredible.
It is. You've got pelicans, herons, eagles, you name it.
So what's the best way to experience this avian paradise?
A boat tour is a must.
Okay, so I can just like float along and watch the birds.
Pretty much. The tours take you through the tranquil waterways, surrounded by lush vegetation. You really feel like you're in another world.
I love that. Okay, now, we also touched on the Black Sea coast when we were talking about Constania.
Mm.
But I know there's a lot more to that coastline than just one city.
Oh, for sure.
So what else is there to discover?
Well, if you're looking for that classic beach vacation vibe,
Yeah.
Mamaia is the great option.
Mamaia.
It's just north of Constania. Beautiful beaches, lively nightlife, plenty of water sports to keep you busy.
Sounds fun. But what about those of us who are looking for something a little more off the beaten path?
Oh, Romania has plenty of that too.
Okay, lay it on me. Where should we go?
If you're willing to head a bit further south,
Okay.
you'll find some really charming villages and beaches that are much less crowded.
I like the sound of that. Less crowded. What are some of the names?
Well, there's Vama Vesha.
Famafesh.
It's near the Bulgarian border and has this really cool bohemian vibe. It attracts a lot of younger travelers and artists and musicians.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Uh-huh.
So it's like a little haven of creativity.
Exactly. And there are tons of hidden beaches and coves to explore along that stretch of coast.
I love it. Okay, so we've done mountains, we've done a delta, we've done the coast. What else is there? Because you mentioned earlier that Romania's natural landscapes are just as diverse as its cities.
Ah, well, we can't forget about Romania's wine regions.
Oh, wine. Okay, tell me more.
Romania actually has a long tradition of winemaking dating back to Roman times,
Really?
and their wines are starting to gain more international recognition.
So what are some of the key regions we should know about?
One of the most famous is Dilumer.
Dilumer. Okay.
It's in the southeastern part of the country, and it's known for its red wines,
Reds. Okay.
particularly Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot.
All right. I'm a fan of both of those.
And then up in the northeast, you have Kutnari,
Kutnari. Okay.
which specializes in sweet white wines.
So robust reds and sweet whites.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pretty good range.
It is. And the best way to experience Romania's wine culture is to visit a winery.
Ah, yes. A winery tour. Always a good time.
Lots of wineries offer tours and tastings so you can learn about the winemaking process and sample some of the local vintages.
And maybe buy a few bottles to take home.
Of course.
Wow.
And if you really want to immerse yourself in the wine culture,
Yeah.
you can even stay at a vineyard.
Wake up surrounded by vineyards. That sounds amazing.
It is.
Okay, now before we wrap up this natural wonder segment,
Mm-hmm.
there was one thing that really piqued my curiosity earlier.
What's that?
You mentioned Bukovina
Ah, Bukovina.
and its painted monasteries.
The painted monasteries. They're truly unique.
I've never heard of anything quite like that. What are we talking about here?
Okay, so imagine monasteries
Yeah.
that are not only places of worship, but also like outdoor art galleries.
Outdoor art.
The exterior walls are covered in these vibrant frescoes.
Frescoes. Like paintings.
Exactly. And they depict biblical scenes, stories of saints, all sorts of amazing imagery.
Wow, that's incredible. And these are old, right?
Oh, yeah. They date back to the 15th and 16th centuries.
Centuries old, and they're just exposed to the elements.
Well, they were painted using a special technique that makes them really durable and weather resistant.
Oh, so they're like built to last.
Exactly. And it's really amazing to see how well preserved they are after all these years.
So they're like works of art that have stood the test of time.
Exactly. And the monasteries themselves are often located in these stunning settings, nestled in the hills or surrounded by forests.
Okay, so it's like art, history, and nature all rolled into one.
Exactly. It's a really special experience.
All right, so Bukovina's painted monasteries are definitely going on the list.
Good choice. And speaking of stepping back in time,
Yeah.
we have to talk about another region that's really special, Maramureș.
Maramureș.
It's in northwestern Romania, and it's known for its traditional villages.
Traditional villages.
Yeah.
What makes them so special?
Well, life in these villages hasn't changed much in centuries.
Wow, so it's like stepping back in time.
Exactly. You'll see these wooden houses with intricate carvings, towering wooden gates, and locals who still wear traditional clothing and practice all sorts of fascinating customs.
It sounds like a living museum of Romanian rural life.
It really is. And there are some villages that you absolutely have to visit.
Okay, give me the names.
Well, there's Spania,
Sabmia.
which is famous for its Mary Cemetery.
A Mary Cemetery. Okay, I've never heard of that before. What is that?
Well, it's a cemetery where the tombstones are brightly colored,
Okay.
and they have these humorous epitaphs that celebrate the lives of the people who are buried there.
So it's like a celebration of life
Yeah.
rather than mourning death.
Exactly. It's a really unique and thought-provoking place.
I can imagine. And what other villages should we check out?
Well, there's Aiud,
Yeah.
where you can visit one of the oldest wooden churches in Romania.
Wow, how old are we talking?
It dates back to the 14th century.
That's incredible. So it's like this little window into Romania's past.
It is.
Okay, so Maramuresh is all about experiencing authentic Romanian traditions and folklore.
Exactly. It's a place where you can really connect with the heart and soul of Romania.
I love it. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
From bustling cities to tranquil mountains to charming villages, it's clear that Romania has something to offer every type of traveler.
Absolutely. You know, it's really amazing how Romania can surprise you. Like it's not always on the top of everyone's travel list.
Right. It's kind of like a hidden gem.
Exactly. But once you experience it,
Mhm.
it just stays with you.
Yeah, I'm getting that sense already, even just from talking about it.
So for our listeners who are ready to, book that ticket and start planning their trip,
Yeah, what's the one piece of advice? What should they keep in mind?
be open to the unexpected.
Ooh, I like that.
Romania is a country that I think really rewards curiosity.
Right, it's not just about checking those, like, tourist spots off your list.
No, it's about, immersing yourself in the culture.
Yeah, like really experiencing it.
Trying the food.
Oh, yes. The food. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
what are some must-try Romanian dishes? Like, what should our listeners be on the lookout for?
Oh, there's so many good ones. Well, you have to try sarmale.
Sarmale.
They're cabbage rolls,
Cabbage rolls, okay.
but they're stuffed with minced meat, rice, herbs.
I mean, that sounds good, but is there like a Romanian twist?
They're slow cooked in the savory tomato sauce and then often served with a dollop of sour cream.
Okay, that sounds delicious.
And then there's mici,
Vici, okay.
which are grilled minced meat rolls.
Grilled minced meat rolls.
Yeah, seasoned with garlic, paprika, all sorts of spices.
Okay, those sound good.
Kind of like a Romanian version of, cevapcici or kebabs.
Okay, I can picture that.
And then, for something sweet, you have to try papanai. They're these fried dough pastries, so fluffy on the inside, crispy on the outside.
Fried dough. You had me at fried dough.
And they're usually served with sweet cheese and sour cherry jam.
Oh, that's a perfect combination. Okay, I'm writing all this down. Now, beyond the food, what other cultural experiences should our listeners try to seek out?
Well, Romania has this incredible folk tradition, especially in the more rural areas.
Yeah, we talked about that a bit, yeah.
There's traditional music, dance, crafts,
Okay.
all passed down through generations.
Wow, that's so special.
A great way to experience that is to attend a local festival.
Oh, a festival. That sounds fun.
They're really lively, full of color, music, and just this amazing energy.
I love it.
And honestly, one of the best things you can do is just talk to the locals.
Yeah, make those connections.
Romanians are generally very welcoming, and they love to share their culture with visitors.
I bet. Even if there's a language barrier, a smile can go a long way. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into Romania, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this episode?
Romania is a country that will surprise you. It will challenge you, and it will captivate you.
Yeah.
Go with an open mind, a sense of adventure, and you will not be disappointed.
Beautifully said. I think we've painted a pretty vivid picture of Romania,
We have.
and I hope we've inspired our listeners to add it to their travel list.
Me too.
So to our listeners, go forth. Discover your own hidden gems. Savor those delicious flavors, embrace the warmth of the people, and most importantly,
Yes.
have an incredible adventure in Romania.